I just left the parking lot. I'm gonna hike up to the Whittaker Wilderness Peak in the Cougar Mountain Wilderness region near Seattle, Washington. So join me and let's head up to the Whittaker Wilderness Peak. Let's go. I can still hear the road, but I'm hoping that we get high enough to the point where we can't hear any sounds of roads or civilizations. Let's report from the top. We'll see. Let's keep getting closer to the top, and we'll see if we lose the noise of the road. This trail is 1.9 miles to the peak, so about a little under 4 total. I forgot the GoPro, so we're doing it on the iPhone. Beautiful day for a hike. Right at a fork, and we got two options. We can follow the Gombu Trail and hit the wilderness cliffs and then the peak, or we can do the peak first and then the cliffs after. I'm thinking peak first. Let's hit the peak and then we'll come back on the Gombu Trail. Just got off the phone with the homie Travis, day one homie. Big shout out to day one homies everywhere. Big shout out to Travis. I think I'm one of the first hikers to take this path today, and I can tell why. And how I can tell is because of the amount of cobwebs. Hiking in Washington during the summer, you're gonna deal with a lot of cobwebs. Is that unique to Washington? You tell me. How is it like hiking in your state? Is there a lot of cobwebs? I know in Hawaii there's not too many. Okay, this is it. Longview Peak. There's no viewpoint or anything, but I think it was probably worth the 0.4 mile hike run over here because I'm at the top of a peak right now. But I saw on one of those signs that we're in King County Parks, and their little slogan said, "Your big backyard." And I keep thinking about that. Like, I'm running around in these trails in Cougar Mountain, and that's awesome that this area is available for all of Seattle to use, and it's so close. I drove like 25 minutes to get here, maybe even like 20 minutes to get here. Awesome. I'm gonna head back down to the wilderness loop. Let's go. Okay, side quest completed. Back on the wilderness peak loop. We can see the trail on the other side of this ravine. Pretty cool. I just left the Whittaker Wilderness Peak. There was no view there. There was just a bench. There was a lovely couple and their dogs, so I didn't film anything. We just sat there and chatted. I took a little video of the bench, but here that is. But on the way up, I was reading James Whittaker. I'm on the Whittaker Wilderness Peak loop. But who was James Whittaker? And who was Gombu? Well, James Whittaker was the first American to ever summit Mount Everest. And he is actually from the Pacific Northwest. He went to Seattle U, which is right in my neighborhood, which is amazing. James Whittaker was also one of REI's first full-time employees, and he even became the CEO of REI. He summited Everest when he was CEO, and this gave REI some major publicity, which made them sell like a bunch of merch that year. This is back in like the 60s. He became friends with RFK, JFK's brother. He was involved in like peace climbs and like the creation of Earth Day. So James Whittaker is a legend. So that's pretty amazing that this trail was named after him. He is still alive today. He's something like 93 years old, and he lives in Washington. Now let's keep going. We're gonna go on the Gombu Wilderness Creeks and Gombu Wilderness Cliffs. And once I get there, I'll explain how Gombu ties into the Whittaker story. I'm on the top of the cliffs, the Gombu Wilderness Cliffs, and I'm going to take a moment to explain who Gombu was. So when James Whittaker was ascending Mount Everest, his Sherpa's name was Sherpa Gombu. So they named these cliffs here in the Cougar Wilderness near Seattle in honor of Sherpa Gambu, who accompanied James Whittaker on his journey to be the first American to ascend Mount Everest. I'm on the James Whittaker Wilderness Peak Trail right now. All right, let's keep moving. Maybe we'll see the cliffs from the bottom side. Since all the spots at the peak were taken, I found this little bench on my way down, so I'm gonna chill here and soak up the views and eat a snack. It's really nice. I'm listening to Chad and JT's Goes Deep podcast. They're doing the comedy movie draft with their homies, Strider, and the other homie, I forget his name, but man, I freaking love those dudes, dude. That's so funny. It's like one of the funniest podcasts. If you haven't checked out Chad and JT's podcast, check it out. Already getting back almost to the trailhead. That was an epic hike, close to Seattle, about 25 minutes away. Whittaker Wilderness Peak. You can tie in Long Peak View or Longview Peak from there and just get out there. I bet this is great all time of year. I'll come back in the winter and I bet it's gonna be a totally different hike, but just as fun and epic. So signing off from the Cougar Mountain Wilderness area near Seattle on the Whittaker Peak Wilderness Trail. See you next time.